This one is the home of probably the most distinguished lawyer ever to come out of Haverhill, William H. Moody. He was a very successful lawyer in many ways. One of his early failures, though, was he was a prosecutor at the trial of Lizzie Borden, and he lost the case. He was one of the prosecuting team. He wasn't the lead. But anyway, he went from there to Congress, went from Congress to become Secretary of the Navy, went from Secretary of the Navy to Attorney General under Theodore Roosevelt, and then he became a member of the Justice of the Supreme Court. And he held that office until he retired and died in this house in 1917. So he has had a very distinguished career. As we were just hearing from some of the people here, Teddy Roosevelt visited this house, William Howard Taft, Longfellow, and many, many distinguished people of politics, literature, and the arts who held Mr. Moody in high esteem. And he lived in this house until he died. He really liked the area. He liked Haverhill, and he thought it was a great place to live. Everybody that's been to the Moody School may have an inkling of his influence in Haverhill. It's still in use, and it still gets a lot of use, and it's not regular classrooms right now, but it's still being very useful to the school system.
Very good. And I do know that there are some pieces like desks and stuff like that from Mr. Moody's house at the Historical Society.
Yes, there is. There are several pieces down there connected with him.
Hi, I'm Joe Bevilacqua, and I've been around town with Larry Seaman, and I encourage you all to watch Around Town with Larry Seaman for all the regional news. As president of the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce, it's the way to go.
Now we're in Congressman William Henry Moody's room. Mr. Moody was a U.S. Congressman. He was the Secretary of Navy. He was an Attorney General. He was State Supreme Court Justice, which the picture behind me is a younger Mr. Moody over here. He was born in 1853. He died in 1917. During his life, he was also the prosecutor on the Lizzie Borden trial. As Supreme Court Justice, he fought for equal rights for blacks. And that was long before the civil rights movement of the great 60s. There's a lot to say about Mr. Moody. He was a statesman. He was a very honorable man. When it came to, that man got his name because he put his boss in jail for improprieties. That's how William Henry Moody became a congressman. His house is still in existence on Mill Street today. It's the big yellow house that's in front of the entrance to Linwood Cemetery off of Mill Street. So I got a stone wall around it. All this stuff, including this double-tiered desk I'm sitting at, is all Mr. Moody's stuff. We got ink wells, because they used to write in ink. There was no such thing as pens. Those drawers in front open up. We have all of Mr. Moody's papers here. So if someone wants to come in and do some research on Mr. Moody, we have plenty of information on him. We also have his card table, and we have pictures of Teddy Roosevelt and other pictures here. Mr. Moody also passed a dissenting vote to make gerrymandering or gerrymandering, depending on what part of the country you're from, legal. It is now illegal. Gerrymandering or gerrymandering is the breaking up of political districts by the party that's in power to keep the party in power. Other stuff we have in this room, we have his Attorney General's desk, which is right here. We have a lot of commendations from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and even Teddy Roosevelt. For you big historic political buffs out there, Mr. Moody was friends with Henry Cabot Lodge, Sr. Anybody who never heard of that name? It was Henry Cabot Lodge, Jr. President John F. Kennedy beat when he was running for the Senate here in Massachusetts. Haverhill is entrenched in history, especially its own political history. Mr. Moody, yes, he's the only congressman from this city, but other notables that have visited this city, well, including candidates that have run. Ted Kennedy has visited this city. John F. Kennedy was in Lafayette Square. He had a rally down there in the late 50s. Then we've had every candidate running for governor and congressman in this district, the 6th district, now the 5th district, come through the city. So yes, Haverhill has stooped itself in big political history, and it all started because of William Henry Moody.